Hey there, friends. Kevin here from the Chord Progression Podcast, the podcast inspiring young rock and metal fans to discover new music and help them find a place they can connect and feel accepted. On this podcast reaction clip with Daniel from the band Alt out of Australia, we talk about how much music is coming out every single day, how much music coming out every single week, and how packed New Music Fridays are. And because people only have a certain amount of time and only a certain amount of bandwidth to listen to new music, how do you make sure that your music is going to be the one that they pick? So before Daniel answers that, I want you to hit that like button to make sure you're pushing this video in the algorithm. Make sure that more people get to know about Alt and the Chord Progression Podcast. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button as well, because by doing that, you'll be notified every time we release new podcast episodes with brand new bands that you may or may not know every single Tuesday and Thursday, every time one of these reaction clips comes out, and every time we react to a song every single Friday. So on that note, let's go.
It's a slow grind. It takes a while. And you can't just give up on it. And yeah, as you said, there's so much competition on any given Friday. Like I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, have you heard the new Sleep Token album? And she goes, oh no, I haven't listened to it yet. And I was like, okay, well, there's also a new album by The Used. There's a new EP by Kid Brunswick. There's a new single which has Bring the Horizon and Black Bear on it, a new single from Paris. And I'm like, it just, all in one day, you can just keep going and going. It's just like, anytime you release anything on any given day, you're bound to have 10 almost big artists of the same genre releasing at least a single or an album or EP on the same day as you. And it's just like, you have to make sure that you're promoting it, otherwise you're really just going to get lost.
So that one might have been a little short, but it does set the scene outright. That release day that we were talking about was May 19th of 2023. And just listen to all the bands and all the artists that were putting out either new albums or new singles at that time. I mean, the big one, of course, that time was the new Sleep Token album, which so many people had talked about, some people had known about, but he also had singles from Bring Me the Horizon, Paris. He talked about The Used dropping an album that day. There is so much competition out there for people's attention, for people's bandwidth to listen to new music, and how are you supposed to maximize on that? How are you supposed to capture that competition? And the best way for me to describe that is just making sure that people know about your music. Of course, there's going to be bands that have record deals. There's going to be bands that have a lot of money behind them for promotion consistently on places like Spotify, on places like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any SiriusXM Octane, any other radio station. There's going to be a lot of places where people are promoting these different kinds of music so that you know that they're coming out. I mean, everyone knew that Sleep Token was releasing an album on May 19th. That was a given. And I think about this going forward, where it's, as a singular band, as a small band, how can you make sure that your song or your album has the best chance? Well, there's a couple of ways you can do that. One is, if you don't have a lot of money, get as many people talking about it, get as many people promoting it, on social media. Word of mouth is such a big thing. If you have some money, though, maybe there's some ads you can do, but sometimes they don't work. You have to know what ads are going to work for you, what ads are going to work for your band. You have to look at the data for that. Or one of my favorite things that I've seen is if you can get one of the subreddits supercharged on something like that. If you can do something that really gets those communities that are very feverish into that kind of music going, it is something where they're going to be the ones that are talking about your new music as well. If they're going to have a new music thread on the metalcore subreddit, it's like, okay, what's everyone listening to this Friday? You might be the one that keeps charging in there. One band that does a great job of this is Patient 67. So go check what they do, because how they connect with people has brought them from a band where I knew them a little bit. I knew them as like a meme band in terms of their content, but their music is definitely not meme related, back in 2021. And they're gonna be playing Blue Ridge this year because of their connection online. It's because of that type of promotion, which has really set them apart and make sure that when they release new music, you know about it. The internet knows about it. There's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a lot of bands that have succeeded in it. And I'm not saying do exactly what those bands have done, but take a look at the principles of what have worked for those bands. Boil it down, figuring out what those principles are, what those ideas are, and how can you strategize around those ideas for your sake. So definitely something to think about when you're putting out new music, to make sure that you're promoting it continuously, religiously, and the best way possible, because there's so much other new music coming out. You got to find a way to stand out. I want to thank Daniel for bringing that up once again. I want to thank you for being on the podcast. If you're enjoying these clips, hit that like button. Make sure this, again, video pushes in the algorithm. More people get to know about alt, more people get to know about the Chord Progression Podcast, and I know what you think. Put in the comments what you're doing if you're a band to promote your music, or what you think bands should do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well, because we release new podcast videos every single Tuesday and Thursday, different reaction clips all throughout the week, and a song reaction every single Friday. If you want to check out the whole entire podcast with Daniel from Alt, go to the description of the podcast. The link is right there. So on that note, thank you very much. This is Kevin, and I'm out.